Okay, so hello world. Thanks for listening to my Music Math podcast. My name is Kengo Ichiki. So this is Hello World from Kanazawa in the middle of nowhere in Japan. I like this phrase and I talked about it in the first English episode. This is the second English episode I'm recording. I talk why I'm making this English version of the episode sometimes in my podcast. That is, in the current world in 2022. Today it's May 17th. At this time, what can I do, I think? And I don't know. I'm just a normal person living in somewhere in the world, not in the center. So what can I do for for happiness of the people? Peace and love, right? And for peace and love, happiness is is not always big thing. We feel relaxed, comfortable, and then we feel content. That is another kind of happiness. Maybe in the other side of the excitement of those adrenaline-oriented things. And I think that side is the missing thing, especially in the internet, social media, or media in general, because media is driven by money, of course, and money is in current business model in the social network or the internet in general. People's attention is the source of the business. That's why those media is seeking the big thing. And that's the cause of the current conflicting, unhappy world, in a sense, I think. And what is the counterpart? And the counterpart will be that spreading ordinary life, small episodes. Those are not always boring. Sometimes it's boring and uninteresting, but sometimes those small things, ordinary things, are very intriguing and attractive and interesting. So I like to spotlight those aspects in my daily life. That's the intention, and that's inspired by the book, the title, the book Humankind, written by Rutger Bregman. I saw on the internet that, after reading this book, and I checked what he is doing, and he's trying to do some media, counter media, I don't know. This book was published originally in 2019, but recently I saw that the correspondent, the activity is not going well. I saw that. So, I don't know, maybe this action, counter media thing, focusing on the ordinary aspect of life, it shouldn't be a big scaled one, because big organization needs money. And then again, to collect money, we need some kind of attention of people, many people, and that's the cause of the problem. So we should, if we want to balance the situation by spreading the small things, we decide people should act in small, but many. Yeah, I want to contribute that number. So yeah, I'm doing this. So I stopped talking about this one. So today, my ordinary life these days, I like to talk about some story. Here, I'm working in Kanazawa as a engineer, programmer right now, writing code. And my focus is on AI or other rather complicated stuff of the programming. So that's why I watched keynotes of big IT companies like Apple, Google, and Microsoft, that kind of thing. And last week, I guess, Google just started Google I.O. And this year, finally they do this event in person as well as through the net video streaming. And now I've watched the video, and I'd like to talk about my impression. What I want to talk is, before becoming professional programmer, I was a researcher in physics, and at the time I heavily use computer and writing code, but the purpose is for scientific calculations, researches. So what I've been doing is basically the same, sitting in front of computer and writing code, reading books, papers, so things are the same. And I became a programmer roughly 10 years ago. Around that time, since then, I've been checking the progress of those big companies. And the last 5 years, I'm rather focusing on the AI, deep learning, that is growing fast since Google released TensorFlow. Yeah, and I've watched the keynotes for last 5 years, 10 years. And at the very beginning, I was excited, the progress and the technologies. But these days, I'm getting bored listening, watching those keynotes. And this year's Google I/O keynote, when I watched, feeling is the same. I'm not that excitement, or I'm depressed with the content. Especially, what I like to talk is about their demonstration of NLP, natural language processing demonstration they're showing. And but I like to focus on the one demonstration. They present function of the document summarization, and they implement it on the Google Docs. And what they say is that you're working, so you're busy, and you have no time to read the documents entirely from the beginning to the end of the lengthy, detailed documents. But you're having a meeting in 30 minutes or so. So what should we do? And they provide a super great Google Docs summary function or something. So they compress the document, lengthy document, into a single page document. So you can read it immediately and you're ready for the meeting. And that is great technologically. And I'm a programmer and I'm doing the similar. I try to develop some application based on those deep learning functions. So that is impressive and great, and I know that. But when I watch those demonstration keynotes, I'm thinking not as a programmer, developer, but as a user, and imagine what's the world we are going to. And I think, as a normal person, I don't like that word. I imagine that if this system is accepted to the society, the world, people, what happened, I thought. And then, most likely, people these days, everybody is busy. So, nobody wants to read the original documents. So, if this technology is established, accepted, people just read only the summarization of the document. Then talk. Then maybe write some documents. That document may be still long, so that the same system, summary system, summarize into a very short format. Then another person read not the original, but the summary again. So people are moving based on the summary, not the original. People don't care about the original. And what happened? I am concerned. Of course, we are so impressed with the ability of AI, deep learning models, especially from Google. But what do you want to do in, that world where an AI summarization system is totally accepted? That world is essentially run by the summarization, run by computer, not run by human being. And that aspect concerns me a lot, and that depresses my feeling a lot. Again, I've been in the mood for some times, but I think I recovered from that phase recently, and I can see the bright aspect of this current AI stuff. Not only the AI, but the world. But again, this demonstration, that is, I don't know, I can't help thinking those sort of dystopian world. Anyway, so that's one of my impression of Google I/O keynote video. Oh, I also want to mention that the other aspect I like to talk about this Google I/O keynote is that very beginning of the streaming. As usual, they put some demonstration of live kind of thing, the entertainment. And they have developed apply AI not only for those business things, but artistic activities. And Google have a special team called the Magenta, this art-oriented activity application of technology. And that is interesting. As a matter of fact, that was 5 years ago something. They put AI in the same setup at the keynote. They showed some device at the time generating sound in this very similar stuff of this year's demonstration. And they open sourced the circuit and the board to build the machine. And I made that, actually. And I played that. And that was interesting. It's fun. And I have some video. Building is a big stuff. Soldering the small, tiny resistor, the kind of thing. And yeah, that was enjoyable. But I didn't play the sound so much. I should do that. But anyway, this year, they provide the software only, web demonstration. They call the tone transfer. When I watched the keynote, warming up, concert kind of thing, I thought it's interesting and I like to try. And after watching streaming, I went to the website and I put my stuff, a few fragments of the sound file. But the result, of my case, the result is not that interesting, unfortunately. That might be because I put a piano sounding file for that. And as you know, that the piano sound has many tones. And they are not good at those kind of thing. More like single tone stuff would be preferred because the target, the destination of their transformation is such instrument like sax, flute, the kind of thing. So maybe my choice was wrong, but the result is not that interesting as we watched in the stream. I didn't check software side program, the mechanism of what they are doing. I'm just talking about the result. I was curious about this because I myself also wrote sound manipulating kind of software for a long time. As a matter of fact, the title I put of this podcast, Music and Math, that is a book title I wrote a few years ago, 2 years ago. I published by myself, self-publishing, for such a self-publishing event in Japan held. And in that book, I wrote about my program. I wrote transcribing software called WaoN, a simple application of fast Fourier transform to pick the note pitch out of sound so you can transcribe not only the melody but chord played by pianist. That's the intention. It did fairly good job, I think, but not perfect, as you can imagine. Yeah, that's why I'm curious. And in the book, I wrote one section discussing, showing some comparison between my program versus Google's AI transcribing program 2-3 years ago at the time, developed by a Magenta team. And if you're interested in, although the book was written in Japanese and I have no concrete plan to translate that book into English right now, but if you're interested, you can read it. It's on price, so you need to buy. Sorry for that. But not only in-print paper book, but electronic PDF version available also. So take a look about the result. Oh, I think that section, that content is published on in public, on the internet. I wrote that section, the original section, in a website, so you can read it freely on that path, written in Japanese though. I put the link to the document description of this episode. Yeah, then after watching this Google I/O streaming and playing with their tone transfer demonstration website, the result is not what I expected. And then I start thinking, so is there any other direction that I do on the WaoN project? And I remember that what I want to do, but I didn't do yet, is that in the transcribing process, my focus is on the harmony, the chord sound, multiple sound at one time. And the problem is it's rather easy to pick the top note of the sound. Top note is the easiest, and the bottom note or the bass note is the next easy thing. Not easy for me. The lower register is rather difficult for me. But try and error with the keyboard we can get. The problem always is in the middle. That is the color of the chord sound, which I really want to grasp. To do that, I have an idea for a long time. That idea is, what if I can remove detected note one by one from the sample? So that, as a result, so after picking a top note of the sound, I can do that. And if I can remove the top note only and remain the rest, if we can do that, then that removed sample, the process, the removed sample's top note is the second top note, right? Which I hardly picked from the original sample. So if we can erase each note from the original sample, that will be useful, I think. And I didn't play with that idea yet. So right now I'm thinking that's an interesting stuff to do. What do you think? Okay, let me finish this second English episode. Sorry for the noise if you hear. We are living beside a park, and today people are mooring. I hope you enjoy this ordinary, not exciting daily stuff of my life. Please give me a comment, whatever you think. Thanks for listening. See you next time.